Welcome back, amiibos and amigas, to my channel. Today we have a brand new Nintendo DIY, and hands down, it's one of my all-time favorite Nintendo DIYs. Not only is it my favorite, but it is the easiest one so far. Again, all materials will be listed down below in the description so you guys can make your own Nintendo coasters for your next summer, spring, fall, winter, all year long event. I have to say the most prettiest thing about this Nintendo DIY is of course the marbling on the coasters. And in order to make that marbling, you will need to use as many vibrant colors of the polymer clay as possible. You can even add your favorite glitter to the polymer clay, and more importantly, you need to add as many shades of that color as possible into your mix. Because by doing so, you will create more layers. And the most important thing about the marbling technique are those layers. So it'll take a bit of time to actually get all those different colors together, but I promise you, it'll look absolutely amazing the more time you put into this project. As you can see, I am starting off with the iconic Mario coaster, and here I'm mixing as many different shades of red as possible, and I'm also including white and a bit of gray. I don't want to go to the darker shades because I think that it's going to be a little too dark, and I want the icon of Mario to really pop in the middle. Once you have those various different shades of red and gray, you want to roll those out into noodles and then combine them and start twisting. Continue this process until you've twisted it to your liking. Keep in mind, the more twists is the more layers you'll be placing into that mix. So the best way that I can actually describe this to you is actually really looking at those layers and the thickness of those layers. If a layer in that mix is really thick, imagine flattening that out. It's going to become even thicker. So again, by twisting all the colors together, you're creating those layers, and the thinner those layers are, the better it is. Here I've provided examples using different colors and the thickness of those layers right when I flatten them out. So the first one was really thick, and you can see that it really wasn't to my liking. The yellow turned out okay, but I'm telling you, towards the end was the best mix I've got out of the bunch. It all depends on what look you're going for, whether it be really realistic when it comes to the marbling, or if you just want something pretty modern and sophisticated. Again, it's totally up to you, but if you happen to make this Nintendo DIY, definitely share it with me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Once you're satisfied with all the layers that you've added, it's actually time to kind of roll it into a ball and then find the layers that you love. Once you find those layers that you feel like will be really unique and different and gorgeous, it's time to flatten it out with a roller. Try to make sure to make it even as possible, and try to make it also into a circle. That way you have enough clay to work with. If it doesn't work out, don't worry. Just roll it back into a noodle and then add more clay to it. So the one you see here is actually one of my favorite marbling effects to date. It was so pretty that I had to use it for the iconic Mario coaster. And funny enough, it wasn't the side that I thought was really gorgeous. It actually ended up being the back side, and it was the most unique. So definitely, if I had to say any type of tip, is to check both sides of your polymer clay and see if one side is better than the other. Make sure to roll it out the size of the cookie cutter. And again, I'll be listing all the materials down below in the description. But before you actually cut it out using the cookie cutter, really examine the marbling effect that you have on the polymer clay and decide where the best marbling effect is. Once you find that perfect spot, go ahead and place your cookie cutter onto the polymer clay and cut that circle out. Once you're satisfied with the base, it's time to move on to the marbling effect in the middle. And of course, you want to use different shades of white and gray. Again, throw in some glitter from time to time, and transparent polymer clay actually worked really well. So again, I'll be listing all materials down below in the description. The best thing when it comes to working with white and making the marbling effect is that it looks realistic, because white, black, and gray is what marble basically looks like overall. However, keep in mind, for me personally, I decided not to add black into this mix just because I really wanted the icons to show, so keep that in mind. Repeating the process from earlier, once you find a side that you really love, whether it be the front or the back, go ahead and flatten that out, and then once you're done, it's time to grab the smaller cookie cutter and begin to cut a smaller circle from the white polymer clay. Again, you want to make sure that you find a spot on this clay that you really love. Once you find that special spot, go ahead and cut that out. Make sure to apply enough pressure so that you really cut out the circle in its entirety. Now, using that same small cookie cutter, you'll be cutting out a circle from the main base of that polymer clay that we used earlier. Again, the surface has to be completely flat in order for it to really work as a coaster. Take your time when it comes to cutting out this circle. You want to make sure that, of course, it's in the middle. If not, you can actually roll this out slightly so you have enough space to work with. And then later on, after you bake it at 275 for 15 to 30 minutes, you can trim it with an X-Acto or using sandpaper. Once the circle is completely cut out from the main base, it's time to place your white marble in the middle of the base, and you can actually align those layers. It'll give it the effect as if it's seamless. And once those two pieces are placed together, you can go ahead and roll it out slightly so it connects. Once you have all your polymer clay coasters ready to go, you can place them in the oven depending on the type of polymer clay you used. Mine was baking at 275 for, I believe, 15 minutes, but again, make sure to read the packaging. The next step is totally optional, but I decided to use a 24 karat marker pen thing, and I decided to put that on the edge of the coasters. It made it look so much more elegant, but again, this is totally completely optional. Just make sure that you add enough layers of whatever paint you decide to put on these coasters. Now, when it came to the icons, listen up. The first ones I made, I actually painted on. However, if you're not confident in your painting skills, I highly recommend that you print out whatever images you want to place in the middle of these coasters and then glue them on. Afterwards, I did resin these with resin, which will be down below in the description. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this Nintendo DIY. If you plan on making this, let me know on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Send me pictures because I would love to see it. And overall, thank you so much for the support. Do not forget to subscribe so I can see you next time.